What's going on, everybody? My name is Mechanic Dave. This time, I'd like to start off by saying, when people hear like, oh, Dave's got a YouTube channel, and they hear it's Mechanic Dave, they're like, oh, he does helpful stuff. No, I do not. I am not helpful in any manner, and if you think I'm helpful, go fuck yourself. But this time, I thought it would be funny what if I was helpful? So this time I'm going to show you how to build a 302 the wrong way, the right way. Yeah. Please excuse the mess. This is a 351 Windsor. Very common to a 302. We'll get to that in a minute. It's all torn down. The Windsor blocks are very, very mint. They share very similar parts. Valve covers, exactly the same. Manifolds and shit. Different intakes. I don't actually know. Intakes are different because of deck height. But you can build these things to make pretty decent power. And they sound very characterful. And a lot of people think they're boat motors. And this one actually is a piece of shit, as you can see by all the junk and cowboy hats piled on top of it. This one, however, is not a piece of shit. This is a 302 that we got when we got the... a 90 LX Mustang, and it was a 4-cylinder, and this motor was going to go into it, but then this beautiful pig blew its motor, which is actually sitting in the other room over there. There she is, all torn apart. There are, we'll get to those in a minute. There's all the stock 84 Foxbody parts, Edelbrock Performer intake, stock 84 block, stock hone. There's a 289 60s block. And you can see on the crank, it got worn pretty good. And, if I can't grab, oh yeah, this is a good example. That happened to the bearings, and it's now just junk. This motor, however, is not junk. This is a good motor. And it did really good. At the drag strip, it ran like, it ran 14.156 was its best time. But damn it, I had to make more power and I had to go faster. So we pulled the engine apart. Well, I pulled the engine apart. And I started learning things about the engine that I didn't know. Because at the time, we just had this motor sitting and we just tossed it in the car, threw a carburetor on it, timed it. Hey, it works. Good, run it. And then we brought it to the drag strip. But now I'm actually getting the opportunity to learn about this specific motor. And I've actually learned quite a bit as we can go over to the whiteboard and over to this whiteboard now. All right, so here is the factory, the old setup. I wouldn't say factory. So there's our previous best time at the quarter, and there's our setup. You'll notice it doesn't say 302, it says 306. See that? 0.030. This motor was bored 30 over, making it not a 302, but a 306. The heads that were on it that you saw in the closet, those were 70s 302 heads. So they were smog exempt, but they were shitty heads. Had a Y-end intake. That was really good, and we're actually keeping that. Had the Holly carburetor on it, smog delete, MSD distributor, bone stock headers that had those tubes that would fucking, they go into the factory intake to heat it up on some stupid reason. It had a Crane Fireball 290H cam in it, which is actually right here. Still in good shape. We need to do a little bit of research on this cam though. And by the seat of my pants, I would say it was making 250 horse, maybe. Honestly, in 1984, the 5.0 only made 175 horsepower advertised, and it ran like 15.1 or 14.9, I think. So we're doing really good. I'm pretty sure it was 15. So because I was a full second faster than factory, I think I said I was. I can't fucking remember. Listen, you drink too many of these fucking things. And slowly you just fucking forget things. But we're changing shit up a little bit. We're going over to this new setup, which we have no idea what the power this thing is going to make. It's still at 306, but we have GT40P heads off of a 2000 Ford Explorer with a 5-liter. Keeping that Holly intake and that Y-end intake and that Holly carb. Smog delete MSD distributor. We have BBK shorty headers going on. Comp cams, dual energy cam, and flat tappet lifters going in. No idea what this thing's gonna make for power, but it should be a little bit better than what it was before, considering the heads have bigger ports, which I can show you. And the cam, I believe, is going to be bigger. It should make, hopefully, if we're very lucky, maybe 300 horsepower. And if we're lucky and life's not fucking us in the ass at that point. There's no cats on the exhaust, so it's pretty free flowing. There's very little belt drag. I mean, you have crank, alternator, water belt, and then you get your delete and power steering pump. Hopefully it does pretty good. But let's get to building this bitch. So the goal is to empty out this whole unit of the shelf. We've got spark plugs. We've got those nice new heads. There's our cam. We got gaskets. We're going to do a new clutch and rear main seal while we're at it. We got gauges going in. The intake and carburetor are over there. There's our push rods, and there's all the other shit. So the goal is to dip into the 13s. I'm pretty sure we can do that considering my best time was 14.1.5. So if we can dip into 13s, that'd be pretty sweet. If we can hit 100 miles an hour, that'd be pretty sweet too. Doubt any of that's going to actually happen, but it's worth a shot. All right, first things first, we need to de-gasket this fucking thing. So we need to get timing chain cover gasket off. We need to scrape the rest of the head gasket shit off. Pretty sure I got most of the intake gasket shit off. We'll worry about the oil pan fucking probably very last. Not a big concern right now, but let's get the scraping. All right, all the gasket material is off. A better way to clean the engine with engine cleaner in a can. And you just use a liberal amount, doesn't matter where. You know, we were kind of doing it everywhere. Just use it. Doesn't even have to be on the engine. You know, just clean the car. Don't you fucking die on me now, soldier. Shake it up. Come on, Taylor Swift, shake it up. Yes. Look at this. Just fucking almost factory clean. This looks like it came from a machine shop. It honestly does. Awesome. Perfect. Just a little more on the front. That's good. All right, that's probably too much. Yeah, bottle's empty. All right, engine's clean. All right, it's a few days later. We've ordered parts. Unfortunately, we can get headers, no problem. And we can get a timing chain, no problem. There's an issue with getting lifters. They're not being made right now, unfortunately. Nobody has them for sale. COVID, not having parts, I don't fucking know. Bullshit is what it is. So, we're going to be reusing the old lifters, which is not that big a deal. It's not ideal, but, I mean, they've been broken in, but it shouldn't be, it should be fine. We're using the old push rods anyways. What could go wrong? The engine could blow up. Not my motor. All right. So first thing we're going to want to do is we want the key at 12 o'clock. And right now we're at top dead center. So we should be ideal for putting the cam in, I believe. So we're going to go ahead and get those things moved. We're going to open this thing up. Da-da-da-da. There it is. The dual energy cam. Should give it a lumpy idle. We do have installation instructions, I believe, and we will read those in a moment. But the biggest thing is We got a dowel pin. I think this is the long one. That's the short one. I'm pretty sure the short one's for carbureted applications, so we're good there. We got assembly lube, like good red shit. And we've been spraying this with WD-40 every once in a while. Same with the block. So should slip right in. Oh, I think it's time for these beautiful fucking things to go on the engine. What do you think? I think it's time. I think it's time for this engine to receive GT40P heads. Sounds like a fucking plan to me. All right. So these are the heads we're putting on. They're GT40P heads. You can tell that there's a P stamped right there. And GT40P is stamped right there. There's also 4 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4. GT40 heads would have 3 bars. And smaller ports, I believe. So these are probably off of like a 2000 Explorer with a 5-liter. So we're going to make this sorcery happen. We got head gaskets over there. I got all the gaskets, actually. So we're going to get to installing them. I have done nothing to these heads. Absolutely nothing other than clean them and paint them. I haven't checked the valve lash. I haven't... Oh, I pulled a stud out, a broken bolt. That was about it. I haven't checked valve lash. But I'm sure it's absolutely fine. So we're going to go ahead and slap these on. All right. Oops. There goes my ratchet. After a little bit of swearing and a little bit of finagling, we got the heads just set on. Let me show you what my issue was. Always want to make sure about this. So these sleeves go in the head, and they align with the block. These were in the GT40 heads and the engine, so it's impossible to put them on together. So had to remove them, had to use a little fire, had to sacrifice a couple of vice grips, no big deal. But got them on, head gaskets are on. Nothing is tight yet, nothing is torqued, everything's just hand tight. But I just wanted to see it with heads again, because it actually looks nice. And I can sneak the lifters into their little holes, so it's no big deal. But need to tighten down the heads, get the cam in, and then we can start buttoning everything up. So I mean, it's already starting to look pretty good. You gotta admit, that thing looks pretty cool so far for just a little 306. Not bad. So we're gonna end this episode here. Probably gonna end up cutting this whole thing up into like 3 different parts, 4 different parts, something like that. How many parts it takes? Because I know you guys don't want to watch an hour-long video of me assembling an engine. So we're getting close. We're getting there. Still got a long ways to go before it fires up, but we're getting there. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I'll catch you on the next one where we're keep on keeping on.